living the adventure. Axis of Awesome.
Incoming transmission.
What is up, adventures? Welcome to Who's in the Shop Saturday night. I hope you guys enjoyed our new intro. I had to kind of tone it down a little bit because our robot overlords would cut this live stream if I showed the amazing Corrigan Holsters logo in its full glory. Welcome tonight, guys. This is going to be really fun. I've wanted to talk to our guest tonight for a long time. I always miss him on the Paul Knapp live stream, but I reached out to him a few weeks ago, and he wanted to come on here, and finally I get to talk to the man who we all know and love, a guy who's been making some of the coolest holsters and rigs for us for quite some time now, and that is Mr. Murray Corrigan of Corrigan Holsters. Murray, what's going on, man?
Hey, just chilling and relaxing. Just finished had a barbecue for supper, a glass of wine. Life is good.
Nice. Did you smoke it?
No, I did some beef tenderloin, bacon wrapped, a little bit of potatoes on the barbie. Just a normal, easy going.
a hearty Canadian meal up there. You said off the screen you got some snow.
Yeah, the last week we've had about a foot in 2 dumps. So quite happy that that's maybe over for a few days. They're calling for another 6 to 8 on Wednesday. So I'm hoping that's not going to happen. They were calling for another 4 inches tomorrow, but they've backed that off now. So
did you get your G.I. Joes out?
No, God, no. I was too busy shoveling.
You shoveling? That's amazing. You're shoveling. That's
shoveled
awesome.
At work all day, and then I came home and shoveled, and we had some supper, and I was done.
Oh my gosh! You don't have a snowblower?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah, but yeah, it gets to you after a while.
It's funny. My dad is he'll be 84 this year, and he has a snowblower. He has the biggest snowblower that they made at the time when he bought his. We haven't got massive snows for a long time now, but he has this awesome snowblower. And every year my oldest brother, and I tell him, hey Dad, make sure you keep starting the snowblower throughout the course of the year so it's ready. And he never does. And every year we'll get one big snow maybe. And he'll text me and I'm like, is your snowblower working? He's like, I can't get that goddamn thing started. So my brother will have to go over there. He'll have to take it apart, get it all going. And it's like Groundhog Day every year.
Mm-hmm. But it's true if you don't use it. Like at the beginning of the season, I fire it up. I've lubed it up at the end of the season. I lube it up after sitting in the shed all winter or all summer, and fuel it up with fresh fuel and make sure she's running. All the shear pins are there.
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean, it sounds like you're gonna need it. So,
it was the best investment for my house I think I've ever made.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely. If all that snow you're getting.
Yeah. Well, I was about your age when I finally bought one.
Oh my gosh!
Until then, it was shovels.
Hey, I'm a shovel guy. I'm going to be a shovel guy until probably I can't shovel. So,
well, your winters are a lot shorter.
Oh, shorter, less.
But it's that one big one that's a problem. I mean, even up here, like the last 2 have averaged about 6 inches each. Depending on where you were, some a little more, a little less. But if it's wet, heavy snow, people hurt themselves. People have
Oh,
heart attacks because they go out there and they think it's nice and light and they think they can just manhandle it around. You gotta pace yourself and you gotta take it easy.
yeah. Don't go hard. Don't go ramming into that stuff.
Oh, I know.
Ooh, no.
I know. The snowblower, even sometimes when it's too wet, it just comes out the top of the funnel and does one of these after it clogs up and then falls out.
Do, do you shoot it into your neighbor's yard?
No, I throw most of it onto my front yard.
Okay,
My front yard needs water.
that's
My grass.
true. I always like to shovel mine out into the road because I know
Uh-huh.
the plows will come and just shoot it on down the street.
Uh-huh. And back up on your yard.
Yeah. It is. I like getting one good snow a year. We get to go out and play in it and stuff.
Well, it's nice if the fewer you get, like, oh, winter, we didn't have very much. We had about 4 or 6 inches. Then it rained
Uh,
for 2 days
uh,
before Christmas and just made everything a big ice pack. And
oh,
since then, it's been more normal, like cold, and when it did precipitate, it was snow. So that was a good thing. I mean, but we haven't had a whole lot of big snows. They were thinking yesterday was going to end up closer to a foot, and we were lucky it only ended up about 6 inches. So
6 inches or a foot.
a foot at a time, that's nasty shit, man.
Especially like in a matter of days.
Yeah. And to get it all in one 12-hour period is a little nasty because it's just overwhelming.
Ugh. So hey, man, I'm excited that you came on. First of all, thanks for coming on.
How can I say no?
Oh, well, anybody can.
You were even good enough to move the show night to
Oh
tonight.
yeah, I would move the show night for anybody. But yeah, I'm happy you were coming on because I've missed you on Paul Knapp's show. I saw our show a few times. I saw
Yeah.
you went on there the first time, and I'm like, oh shit, it's Murray, and
Mhm.
you're a great guest. And I'm like, man, I love talking to Murray, and you're always in the comment section, and you do so many cool things. So like the first thing I really wanted to ask you is, I think it was back in 2015 that I was probably on Facebook at the time, and I think you had been making holsters for a while then, and
Yep.
I reached, I don't know if, I think you were supplying holsters to Cotswold at the time, but I reached out to you and you made me this double
Oh,
set of holsters
okay.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double
for these
adventure. Yeah.
3D printed guns. I sent you a picture and all that other
Yeah.
stuff, and you made these amazing holsters, man. Like how how long have you been doing this, and how did you even get into doing the holsters? 'Cause it's such intricate
Oh,
work.
back in the 90s,
Yeah.
when the internet was still young,
Uh-huh.
um, and there was Alt GI Joe was a big place. The Big Red Toy Box was a
Right.
big place. That was a huge place. I met a lot of people back then, and through Alt GI Joe, and still together after all these years, still keep in touch. But that's where it all started. My parents sold the family home. Come on, get your toys. Or actually, it was come get your stuff out of the attic. We had no idea, the four of us, what might be up there. We had no idea the mom and dad had thrown our old toys up there. Well, there was Johnny West, Matt Mason, GI Joe. It was like, sweet, look at this. Well, my poor wife, she came home from work, and in the living room, I was sitting in the living room and had these boxes emptied with all of my old toys, was put together sets, right?
Yeah.
She thought, and we were rather newly married. I'm sure she thought, what did I get myself into here? But
Oh.
she's been a really good sport about it. And then when the internet came out, found Big Red Toy Box and then Alt GI Joe, and met tons of people. And back then there was Zang's and Coop's chat rooms,
Yep.
because that was the thing back then, was the
Mhm.
chat rooms, right? And so one night I think it was probably on Zang's group, we were we had big chat going on. Lots of people from all over, including Yoon from Spain, and
Whoa.
a bunch of guys from the probably Alan Dawson might have been there from the UK, Rob Wuzzle from Australia, as well as a number of people from the United States.
Wow.
And and that was at the time when 21st had come out. And G.I. Joe, so it was after 96 when Classic Collection came out. The only thing available was Armed Forces type holsters, pistols, guns, so all the normal toy stuff. And somebody was complaining and saying that because 21st had not started their law enforcement line yet, and they were complaining that there was no non-military holsters out there.
Oh, whoa.
And I said, I think I've got a bag of scrap leather here somewhere. Let me see what I can find, if I can find it, and what I can come up with. And that's how it started. So, where is she? Oh, there he is. Okay, Duke, let go. And this was the first rig I came up with.
Whoa.
Came up with this and started messing around with it. And one thing led to another. And next thing you know, I'm making holsters. And at the same time, my lovely son was getting into G.I. Joe, needless to say, and I'd gotten him some Action Man from Spain, some of the 90s stuff. And he got, one of the sets had forest green windbreaker with a knit cuff and at the sleeve and at the arm and at the neck, or at the waist and the neck, right?
Remember that? Yep.
Yeah. And so my son says, Dad, I want one in red. And I said, they don't make them in red. Dad, come on, I want one in red. They make them in green, and there's a hard to find black one, but I haven't seen it. Well, but I want one in red. I said, well, I guess I could make you one. So then I bootlegged those for a while. I got some fabric and I bootlegged them for a couple of years. And in the background was always holsters going on. And then, we got Aesop came out. Dan, that was Todd and Dave and the guys came out with that. That was amazing. And at the same time, we had Carl Butcher come out.
Yep.
Dan DiBiase, and did some holsters for both of those groups, and had a great time. I mean, in 05, we had the convention in Minneapolis, which it was so nice and close, I was actually able to get to. And for the first time, I got a chance to meet all these amazing people I'd known online. And at that time, I mean, we had Project R and Adventure Gear and Good Stuff to Go.
Yep.
Ken and Gail were amazing to deal with. They carried my line of holsters for a number of years. Project R carried some of my stuff. Robin and Skip are just fantastic people. They actually came up for a visit one time.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. They happened to be in northern Minnesota visiting Robin's family, and they came up for the day. So
Cool.
We had a great visit. Took them and did all the touristy stuff with them, and yeah.
Wow.
And like I say, and then originally we did a website, or I did a website on GeoCities, which
I remember GeoCities. Oh yeah.
That was my first website. And then when they went for crap, I went to Facebook. I talked to some people, and they said, for what you're doing, Facebook is going to be just fine. Yeah. And that's where we moved to, and that's where we've been since.
Yeah, that's where I discovered you, was Facebook. Yeah. I think it's funny, like I remember all those groups in the early I guess late 90s, early 2000s, because I remember the early days when you dial up the internet.
Yeah.
I can remember so I was a big collector of the Classic Collection And then I kind of jumped off into 21st Century. Then I dabbled in Dragon and BBI and a few of the other manufacturers at the time. But I can remember coming home from work, you know, I'd get home late at night, take a shower, work out. It'd be like probably 11:30 or 12 at night. And I'd dial up the internet and I'd get on there and I'd always just look at, you know, forums like the Sandbox and just look at stuff.
All G.I. Joes was fantastic.
Yeah. And that was a really interesting and fun time. And there was so many creative people that were coming out of nowhere doing their own stuff. And Mark Oates from Patches of Pride, you know.
God, I miss Mark.
Yep. Yeah.
Amazing.
I met Mark. I think I answered I think Mark reached out to me when I ordered some stuff from him because he lived in Urbana, Illinois, which was you know, right there in my backyard. And I met him and I joined the Central Illinois G.I. Joe Collector Club. And then, you know, we did a lot of fun stuff then. But yeah, when I discovered your holsters, I think I had just gotten back into really doing G.I. Joe again because I took probably 6 or 7 year break.
Well, and there was so much to pull you away from it too.
For sure.
Like you said, BBI and the Dragon stuff. I mean, just Sideshow, everybody. I mean, I've got the Bonds back here.
Overwhelming.
All the Bonds are sitting back there, and just Psy Girls, Psycom, the top 2 shelves there.
All that stuff. I know. It's just like that time period was.
It was
great.
Incredible.
It was
really
great.
It was a lot of fun.
That's what I keep trying to tell all these guys who are the 1/12 guys right now. I said, you know, enjoy it because there's a bubble that always forms and then it bursts and then something else comes and takes its place, you know.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Let's take a break real quick and look at who's all in the comments. We got some people that came in. Stacy,
people in there. I just finally realized the comments was separate than the private chat.
We've got Stacy. We got Stacy in there. Stacy Armstrong, Sig 20.
Yes, we do.
Alicia Sanham.
Alicia, that will be my good friend Adrian and his family. They're local.
We got.
He's a fantastic customizer, man. You should see some of the stuff he can do.
Does he put stuff on Facebook?
No, he actually doesn't do a Facebook, but he's from 16 Warrior.
Good for him.
That's where I first met him, was 16 Warrior, and then we found out we were both living in the same town and got to be friends.
That's awesome.
It is. I mean, the odds of that were incredibly slim. So
we got Michael Maslin from Geography in Action. He's there in Canada as well.
What's that? What's he? I wonder. Whereabouts is he?
I think he's up in. Is it the western part of Canada, Michael? He probably tell us in the comments. I've sent some things to him. Ed Kozak from Action Figures. Yes. You know Ed.
And is here, I see.
Tim Cope. Awesome dude.
Yeah. Oh, there's Ed. Yeah. Action Figures. Yeah.
Jazz and Mini.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like that might be a Thunder Bay too. I don't know.
Prince George, British Columbia.
Okay, and Lone Wolf. There's Jim from Mississauga. Let's see, who else is
it? Murray paid me to say nice things. Stacy says you paid him.
I see that. I just got there too. Yeah.
Hope you paid him. Did you pay him in Bitcoin?
No, horses. Worse yet, horses.
Horses to flock.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Can't wait to see how that turns out. Hey, in 3D shop. There we
go.
Yeah,
yes, it is live. Yep, this is live. I hope it is.
I hope so.
Nobody's told us that it isn't, so that's a good thing, right?
Jasmine says Adrian and his wife are watching on the TV.
That's nice. I hope we look good on the TV. I hope it's in HD.
So. I don't know. I don't know how well I transpose to a big screen.
I'm ugly no matter where I go. I stay consistent. That's why
I was told I had a face for radio.
Yeah, both of us, I guess. Oh my God. Hey, so did you teach yourself to sew then, or did you have like a mom that taught you, or?
Oh, that's I borrowed my grandmother's sewing machine, which was a 1948 Singer, only went forward.
Whoa.
from my mom who had it,
Okay.
and I've still got it actually, and pretty much just asked for a little direction. They gave me a little direction. I figured the rest out pretty much on my own.
Really? That's
Yeah,
impressive, man.
it isn't as hard as it looks. I mean, I see what your mom does. Your mom's a whole other level, like this bar above me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do soft goods, but
Mhm.
I prefer to play with leather.
Well, you do a fantastic job on the leather stuff, and that's what I always wondered because this is like, how are your eyes?
You see these?
Yeah.
These are progressives.
Okay.
I definitely, and that's how I knew I needed glasses. Was I was having problems threading my machine?
Oh wow. So what are you sewing on now? Did you upgrade to a more modern sewing machine?
Oh Lord, no.
Oh, you still rolling on an old Singer?
Actually, I have I think it's a 100th anniversary Singer Traveler that I use.
Whoa.
It's a yeah, I think it's a centennial one they use, and it's even smaller than my grandmother's old 1948, but it has reverse.
Yeah. Whoa, that's impressive that you're using one of those.
And it's really nice. It's actually, and I've got a second one I have to take into the shop and get working, so that in case anything happens to my primary.
Wow. Yeah, my mom, she
She's
has, I think she's got a few Travelers. She still has hers that my dad bought her. She still sews on the same machine she sewed since 1965.
yeah.
So when my
I'm
dad and her got married in 64 or 65, he bought her
hmm
as a wedding present a sewing machine at a local store here in Paris. I can't remember what it was called, but she's had that same sewing machine, and that's what she sews on,
yeah.
and it's wild.
Well, it's what you get used to. A
Yep.
lot of it. I the fancier it gets, that's all fine and dandy. Like Robin R said to me, "That's what you're using." But Project R was going. She had. I mean, she still has, as far as I know, a ton of machines.
Hmm.
But yeah, she just said. She said to me, because they had met Aaron Luck at one of the shows, and she says, "What is it with you guys and these small machines?"
We're men.
Yeah,
we do
men
the
should
most
have
difficult.
friendly machines, big
Yeah,
machines, lots of needles, lots of threads.
we do things the most difficult way possible. The
Yeah,
easiest thing, the most difficult way possible.
yeah,
Uh,
just keep it simple. The old KISS principle. If it works, don't mess with it.
oh man. So do you have like a Joanne Fabrics up there where you get fabrics, or like where do you usually go buy
We have
everything?
Fabric Land.
Okay.
Uh, we don't have Joann's, and sadly, you guys are losing them by the sounds of it.
Yep, I went and looked at
Uh,
one today and was
yeah,
I was looking at some fabric, but I didn't buy any. But
yeah. No, because I do everything in leather. Most of my leather comes from Goodwill, from the Salvation Army or
oh
Value
really?
Village, and I repurpose. I buy leather jackets. Look for ones with very few panels, lots of big pieces, and
Wow.
I've been doing that from day one. With some exception, I do a lot of business with Rio Rondo
Uh-huh.
for buckles, especially. Actually, all my buckles pretty much come from there. And white leather, I ordered directly from them. They've got this amazingly fine white leather, and it's almost too fine to work with. It's from Japan, and
Ooh.
it's beautiful, but it's costly
Oh,
by
I bet.
comparison to what I normally pay for a whole jacket.
Holy shit.
Three pieces of that's the same as a whole jacket, and it's not much bigger. I think they're what 6 by 8 pieces.
Wow.
So, but it does the job I need to do. Like Greg over at Cots has me doing some white Sam Brown holsters, as well
Ooh.
as the brown and the black ones,
Hmm.
and try and find white leather.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen white leather.
I had years and years ago, but it's out of style by probably 3 decades anyway, and
Come back around.
if not 4 decades, and so it's really tough to get. And so I like I say when Greg asked for white as well for the MPs, I went, "Ee." So the only place I could find that I could get a reliable, you know, supply on a regular basis was my buddies down at Rio Rondo,
Wow.
Gary and Company. They're absolutely fantastic, and I've been using them since the late '90s as well.
Ooh, that's a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've kind of done the same thing you've done, but not for as long. So I'll have like an old raincoat, like an old
hmm
Marmot raincoat, or some of
yep,
these other ones that I've had, and I'll wear them out eventually, and the seams will. So
yeah.
I started actually just cutting all those out and trying to seam rip the biggest panels, and then I give them to my mom, and then I've had
Sure.
her sew up rain suits for me, or
Yeah.
jackets and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. I have an old pair of 1960s fatigues
Oh wow.
with, and I've wore them out, and they were almost flocked, the
Oh cool.
Vietnam era stuff. And it's really neat to see, like, they wore really thin in the knees and the seat. And so I had a guy contact me a number of years ago. God, it must be, she's maybe close to 15 years ago now. And he was wanting to do a comic, and two of the characters he needed rigs for. And one was a bandolier type thing, and he wanted it out of like an olive drab material. Well, okay. Most of this olive drab is fine. It's just
Hmm.
the knees and the seat that are shot. So I'm not wearing them in public no more. So I butchered that up into some part useful pieces, and made that work. And then another rig he wanted as well. And yeah.
No
So I
kidding.
don't know how he ever did. He never did get back to me. I told him to let me know how it turned out, and because he wanted them, because I guess he was gonna get some casts, caricatures of this heads, and make custom GI Joes out of them, and so that's why he wanted the rigs for them, right?
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, so that was one of the neatest requests I've had.
Did you do you have like a source, like if somebody wants you to make like a period, like a specific looking rig from like say World War II, do you have like a list of you have like a catalog of books that you kind of draw from?
I watch a lot of movies. The,
Okay.
one of the first request, actually, the first custom order I had was a James Bond, early James Bond, Goldfinger-ish, and Dirty Harry to Singapore.
What?
Yeah, that was my first custom request, and so I went to Blockbuster. That's how long ago this was.
Whoa.
And I rented the Dirty Harry movies to
Okay.
try and find a point where you could actually see his holster, because usually he reaches into his suit coat and pulls out the cannon.
Yeah.
And you don't see the holster, but on one of the movies you actually do. And that's where I found, and then I came out with it and I put it together and sent it off to him. And the James Bond one, I got in touch with him because in the movie they actually had the shoulder portion of it was fabric and a white elastic around the other arm, and a white cloth boot for the pistol. It really
Whoa.
looked like crap
I bet.
in the movie, and flimsy, and it was not pretty at all. Not what I would have ever thought of as a standard holster. And so I contacted him and I said, "Listen, here's a picture, a still of what I was able to find. Is this what you want?" And he said, "God, no, don't do that, dude. Please do the boot in leather, please." And the rest he asked for in the blue fabric, and I happened to have some and was able to make some for him. So
Whoa.
Yeah, made it up. That was one of the first ones.
Wow. Yeah, I've always wondered that about your
Yeah.
stuff because, like, I have a list of back. I used to go to, like, Walden Books and a few other
Hmm.
places when they'd have clearance sales, and I would buy
Yes.
when I was really into the military stuff back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and I was kind of starting to customize a little bit. I would get those old military books that show you soldiers from all over the world and whatever their military gear looked like at the time. And I still got stacks of those, and I would buy just military magazines and stuff and
Yeah.
try to recreate stuff. So I didn't know, like, if you used like a source material, but that's
Well,
that's that's awesome that you can just look at that and make it.
well, then you sketch it out and you scale it up or down, whatever you need. Uh, and to answer Tim's question, yes, I have. Uh, and Geography in Action says Connery pulls one out in Doctor No. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the guys talking about Blockbuster, they're right.
Yeah. Blockbuster's a wild place.
Yes, and Stacy, yes, I did make one for you, a Bond one. But yeah, it's also a lot of like
Hey,
I've got.
Dan.
Oh, hey Dan.
Thanks for showing up.
Um, yeah, I've got like I got Star Wars source material. Needless to say, because we're all Star Wars fans at heart at some point,
Absolutely.
at some level, because it's the stuff we grew up with: Star Trek, Star Wars,
Hmm.
James Bond source materials. Um, I've got an encyclopedia of James Bond. I've got um, oh, it's got a whole bunch of the props used in Indiana Jones and
I could see you getting a lot of those requests.
yeah, all that type of stuff. I remember Greg had me do up a whip
Whoa.
for a thing he was doing. No, I have not used sealskin, Jim.
Oof.
um,
Yeah.
and he had me wanted a whip, and trying to braid the whip was just nuts. But I was able to come up with something. I managed to find some leather lace that was braided in different
Uh-huh.
sizes and stepped it down. But a lot of it is, give me an idea of what you want. And if it's something that I can visually go and find pictures of, so I've had some people ask for stuff from comics, from cartoons, other movies. Ed was saying there was a Bruce Willis movie, and he contacted me years ago going, "Hey, can you do me this rig from this character in the movie?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. What's the movie?" And you know, I watched enough of it that I was able to pencil up a rendition of it and come and put it together and check it against the movie and see that it was close. And he seems to have been happy with it over the years.
Yeah, it's always nice. I guess it's always nice if you don't ever hear back from people, but also it's kind of weird too. Like, if you don't ever hear back from 'em, I
Well,
guess
I heard
they're
back at the time when he got it. He posted some
okay.
pictures and they were great. And like I say, he was quite happy with it. So and quite often a lot of my customers that deal with me direct will send me a picture of it, what on the intended figure at the end. Um, a lot of guys on Facebook have done that. Last man standing, that was
There you
it.
go. I knew he'd pipe in with it.
Ed's pretty quick.
He is.
And I met Ed through 1/6 Warrior back in the day.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I spent a number of years hanging out there too until that all switched up and got goofy. And
They
then
always do.
and it kind of was getting very like I'm a toy guy.
Yep.
I like my toys and I love the stuff, and I'm always impressed to no end at the amount of detail that the companies are getting more and more with anything and everything.
Yep.
Um, but that's not important to me. To me, Matt Matt Squatch,
Yep.
this is every bit as cool as the most detailed MP5 with a magazine and
Right.
I'm sorry, that's every bit as cool,
Yeah.
if not cooler, because it leaves a little something to me
Yeah, I agree 100%.
and my imagination.
I
You
do.
know, I mean, there's stuff. I mean, I've got, as you can tell, my interests are all over
Very.
the place. And this is all my newer stuff, my modern stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've got die-cast planes models. I've got motorcycles. I've got, spaceships.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you on that because I look at, I look at a lot. I love toy aesthetics and I like
Yeah.
looking at all the new stuff. Like, some of the action figures coming out today are so detailed and so
Oh,
amazing. They almost look too good in some
well,
ways
you
and
look at it and you look at the pictures they're doing, and like you say, they look too good. You have
beautiful.
to take a second look and go, is that actually a toy?
Yeah.
And then you see the price tag and you go, oh yeah, it's a toy.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I don't know who's gonna play with a toy that costs that much, but
Yeah, that's a good litmus test for me. Like I
yeah,
I buy stuff now, like I ask myself, would I let my 6-year-old son play with this? And
yeah,
that's kind of how I really choose
yeah,
to buy stuff nowadays. I love old vintage Japanese toys and old vintage toys from the 70s and 80s. I
yeah.
just love the aesthetics of them because that's back when they designed toys
To
for
be
us to play with,
toys.
to be played
Yeah.
with, right?
Point blank,
And
plain and simple.
right.
They were intended to be thrown in the dirt and ran over with your bike and dragged down behind your bike on the street. You
Yep.
know?
It's just it is a different time and it's amazing to see those toys today. Like
Yeah,
I've given my son, like, he has 2 or 3 vintage GI Joes and he has a couple Hall of Fame ones and a couple modern ones,
yeah,
and he beats the ever living hell out of those. He takes them everywhere, throws them in ponds, lakes, streams, drags them through mud, drops them off
yeah.
the house, and just like I'm
But
like,
that's what I miss about the fact that they don't have like Max Steel,
yeah, that body's durable.
Action Man in the 90s.
Yeah,
You know, those, and they were way better than the Hall of Fame figures as
way
far as
better.
durability and pose and playability in my
Right.
mind. Um, but you know, they were great. M&C Toys,
Yeah,
Power Team, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
yeah, ton of
They've
stuff.
got I mean, the detail on their outfits and their price point
Mhm.
and what they come with, they are, in my mind, that is top shelf.
Yep.
If you've got kids, because if for $20, if it breaks, you're not going to lose it. You know, if you've
Nope.
spent $200 on something, which I've yet to do.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I can't say I haven't,
Not
but
even vintage. I haven't even spent that. I think I've got an Action Man Pursuit Craft. It came with the original box
oh, really?
from the UK,
Whoa.
and this was in the late 90s, I believe, because we were still at the old house, maybe early 2000s. $75 American delivered to me here in Thunder Bay from the UK.
What?
Yep. I got a deal. That's before everyone in North America realized that Action Man was GI Joe just from somewhere else. I
Oh
I
man.
picked up stuff from a friend from the Sandbox 100 years ago, who sadly isn't with us anymore. Yoon. He's actually the one that picked up Action Man and the Windbreaker I was telling you about earlier for my son. Gave for that set. He got me the carded bazooka window box bazooka set. I got a few pieces of Geiper pieces from him that were vintage. And the prices of posts were way less than what they are today, and the value of the stuff was way down. Like now, I think I probably spent about 20 or 30 US on the window box bazooka set, vintage.
Whoa. Really? Holy God.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's like, really? People will think, are you kidding me? I've got I believe it's an action team wind boat, adventure team, the action team from Germany. A buddy of mine was in the 101st Paratroopers and was stationed in Europe for a bit. And he said, "Hey, I've got, what would you rather have, this or that?" And one of the choices was the wind boat. And I said, "Well, I don't have the wind boat. The other was the escape car, I think." And he said, "It's yours, $20."
Wow. I
You
just
know?
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when you could, I mean, I can remember back in the 90s when you could find stuff if you could find it,
Mhm.
right? You'd have to go to flea markets.
Yeah. eBay, and well, and the Sandbox. Like
Yep.
the guys in the Sandbox and Big Red Toy Box, uh, that was Don. Oh, crap. Now I feel like an idiot. I can't remember his name. But Don, I actually sold him a bunch of Matt Mason stuff that was boxed that I
Oh
picked up.
shoot.
A crawler, the bubble, um, with the little red caterpillar thing. Um, yeah, and him and Bobby Crabtree down in Texas. He bought some of my Billy Blastoff stuff. I had a mint in box Billy Blastoff astronaut set that I'd picked up for $13 at one of the local toy stores here, like probably in the, I'm thinking the 80s. It was old stock that had come out in the fall, and I
Yep.
walked in buying Christmas gifts for my nieces and saw that and went, "My nieces can wait till next payday."
You're damn right they can.
Yeah, I picked up a Man of Action mint in box,
Men in box.
and I think it was 12 or $14.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What year was that?
that was probably the early 80s.
Early 80s. I
I was
I
still
got a
living at home.
similar. We had a dime store up on our square in my town, and they would always get a lot of really cool toys, but they were a little bit higher priced than the other places in town, like Kmart. So
Yeah,
they never really would sell through their stock.
yeah.
Well, they had, the original 82 run of Real American Hero.
Oh,
They had up and it was I believe it was 19 I want to say 1989 maybe.
yeah,
I went in there one day after school. I was walking home from school and I just decided to stop in there and look at the comic book rack because I'd buy comic books there every once in a while. And
yeah.
I went back to the back where their toy area was, and I'll be damned if that Mobat wasn't sitting there still mitten box.
No.
Yep, they had a Mobat, and I was like, "Holy smokes, man!" I'm like,
Mhm.
"I should come back and buy this," but
Yeah.
I never did. And
Oh,
who knows?
dude.
I
Yeah,
know I didn't even think about it. It was weird. It was a weird time.
yeah,
It was just a weird time for me because I was kind of
yeah.
out of GI Joe.
Go to the toys. Yep,
Yeah, I was still into toys, but I was really kind of out of the little GI Joes. I was getting into some
right,
other stuff, and I discovered uh, Bandai in Japan, and I was a huge
right.
Godzilla fan, and I was,
Yeah.
loving that, loving comics and stuff. And still to this day, I kick myself in the ass. I'm like, would it be cool to just walk into some place and see that for like $10?
I'll
I would
tell you.
probably piss myself.
Yeah. Well, and I remember the Mego, the 12-inch Buck Rogers.
Oh yeah.
I had one. I bought the same store,
Oh, those were
and
rare.
it was under $20. They, at that time, they still had a lot of the Star Trek ones.
Uh-huh.
But um they didn't have Spock. They had, Kirk, and I went, nah, he's overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I,
the Klingon they had, and they had the bald girl, the bald woman.
from the
Can't
first movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
can't remember what the
Yep.
character's name
I don't
was.
know what her name was, but
Hey, Robert. You
yeah,
see
it's Max
Robert's with
Sog.
us.
Max
Jim's
Sog's
with
here.
us.
Jim
Yeah, Jim's
Egner,
with
Max
us.
Sog.
I
We're
see.
loading them
Oh my
up.
God, we got Brian with us. We got a lot of new guys coming in.
We're loading them up. Oakhurst is here. He's a really cool channel on YouTube. If you guys really want to see a guy who covers a lot of broad stuff, Oakhurst
Okay,
Studios has a lot of really
cool.
cool modern stuff.
Yeah. And
Yep.
Robert, did you see Robert's new video that dropped just
I did.
yesterday?
I did. It's
It is
awesome.
very cool. It
A
was very
banger.
cool, very enjoyable.
He's great. He's great. He goes all in on everything, and
No
it's so
kidding.
neat.
The photography, it was amazing. I was impressed. I can't wait for the next episode, to be honest. And hey, did you see that on Thursday it was Ernie from Ernie's Attic? It was his birthday. So,
Oh, happy birthday, Ernie! If you're
happy
out there,
birthday, Ernie. I don't know if he's out there today. He'll probably catch it in reruns. If he's not, he's usually pretty good at catching most of us.
he might jump in there. Yeah, happy birthday, man.
So
he was on Paul's live stream Monday. Was it Monday?
yeah, he was one of the guests. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paul has a great show, doesn't he?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, Stacy, Rick, and Paul, they are an absolute blast.
It is
I
fun.
mean, I don't know about you, but the pre-show and the post-show can be really over the top.
Oh yeah, they're a bunch of characters.
And the pre-show, oh no kidding, and just a bunch of really good guys. I mean, my God, I mean, Rick hasn't sent me anything, but apparently he's sending Edmund a lot of stuff, so that's okay.
He's running a 1/6 scale charity, and you guys aren't.
I think so. I don't qualify. Looking behind me, I don't qualify.
You don't qualify. Stacy, poor Stacy he doesn't have anything.
Stacy's he's all over the place, man. Music, instruments, the toys. I mean, and Rick too.
I got nervous when he had that video going after my snafu like a week earlier with Jim. I saw that Stacy's video. I'm like, oh no, oh no, dude, don't do it, don't do it. Oh man,
that was my concern after last week's with Jim. I mean, Jim's amazing. I mean, I learned stuff about Jim that night on your show there the other night that I didn't know, and I'm very impressed. I mean, good God, the lengths and depths that he went to reproduce the props.
Wow.
It was a shame they pulled the plug on you guys, because I'll tell you, everybody that was watching with bated breath, because waiting for the next, information to drop, because it was an amazing, absolutely amazing show.
When he pulled out the lightsaber, and I said, in my head, I'm like, well, Jim's a psycho. Jim's one of those guys who literally builds the exact replica of everything and becomes obsessed. And I was just blown away. I was telling my wife after it, in between me cussing YouTube.
I can believe it.
I'll tell you about that here in a second too. But I was like, you should have seen this prop he made. He made the exact freaking lightsaber. He found all the exact parts to make the same prop. She's like, what? Yeah. When I came back up from that and I figured out what had happened, I was so pissed off. And I instantly like appealed it. And within a matter of minutes, they denied the appeal. I'm like, how can you even deny the appeal? Because you haven't even done anything. So
look at it. Yeah.
I got on a chat with a girl and I just literally, I had my laptop in bed. My wife was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to fix this, So I'm telling her all what happened and explaining everything to her. I said, I've had this channel for 5 years. I don't have any strikes. I've never done anything, controversial, and going through all this stuff. And then, she was like, I understand, sir. We'll look into it. And I said, well, I hope you're going to look into it. You're not going to just, bullshit me and blah, 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 blah. And then she did. She sent me an email the next day and said, I've passed this up to the, to like some review thing. And I said, tell them to watch the video. I said, if they watch the video, then they're going to know that it was a Star Wars blaster.
Yeah.
And then they did. And it was so funny, Murray, because they never said a word to me. I was just sitting in my sauna one day.
Right.
And I'm looking and I see that the video's on there, but it's like not able to be viewed. And then probably 10 minutes later, it mysteriously appears. And then 2 days later, I get an email from them.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it was great to watch it again. As soon as you posted that it had come up, I flipped it on. And it was, I was still mesmerized. It was still like, oh, can't end now. This is where it ended last time. Please say there's more.
He makes so many cool things, and him and Sean.
So many.
Yeah,
so
and I got
many talented people in this business. I mean, there's another one, Sean Huckster.
Yep.
Oh my God, that boy. I mean, I remember him back in the I guess it would be Yahoo groups.
Oh,
And
really?
I don't think I remember him being in the sandbox, but in the Yahoo groups, and like he did some great photo stories. Doctor Who, he loves Doctor Who,
I can see
and he
that
did some
too.
absolutely amazing photo stories with Doctor Who. He did some great customs and just some other and pictures. Like these guys were taking pictures and doing all the customizing and stuff way back then, and they were a fuel to the fire, man. I'll tell
Hmm.
you, they could get me. I could them and Dan and the Aesop boys and Diorama Dreams.
Diorama
I would
Dreams was
love to
great.
get a hold of Patrick. I've lost track with
Me
Patrick,
too.
and he's an amazing tech, customizer or
Yep.
anything else he wants to do. Apparently, last I heard, I think he closed down his business
Hmm.
and went is a at being a firefighter.
Really?
That's what Steve Stovall was telling me
Ah,
the last he had heard, and but apparently has little or no presence on the web.
yeah.
Um,
I've been
so
trying to get a hold. I've been trying to find a way to get the hold of him because I was going to see if he wanted to maybe come on a live stream and just talk about, all the props and stuff he used to do
yeah,
because
Rob,
he used to have a great article in the Collector Club newsletter every month, just
yes,
just
you got
making
that
stuff.
right.
I
Yeah,
reached out to him. I want to say in 2008, and I
okay.
was going to have I had everything ready to have him build me Johnny Quest, the little
Oh,
hover
right.
thing,
Yeah,
the little disc that you see in the
yeah,
very beginning. I was going to make an
right,
adventure team one.
right.
And I had talked back and forth with them and I had it all set. And then I got divorced and I
Oh,
kind of just, I put everything on the back burner and
yeah,
I never got back in touch with him. And I'm like,
yeah. Oh, and
fuck.
Robert says that Sean was in the sandbox, which makes sense. That would probably be where I first was introduced to him.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
got Sean coming on. He's going to be on here soon. And I can't wait to talk to him too.
and then
So
Stacy's next week,
Stacy's our next one, and then
or
it's I think
next
Stacy,
Thursday.
Rick Bradshaw. I reached out to
Ooh,
Steve Stovall. Steve's going to come on.
well, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Right on, guys.
and then I think Huckster is going to be my last one in I think
In May,
May before I go on vacation, and then
right?
I'm working on guys for when I come back in August, and
Mm-hmm.
I've got some cool people lined up to reach out to. I'm going to try to get a guy on who makes monster masks, latex monster
Oh yeah.
masks.
Oh,
From
cool.
Yeah, he's a really cool designer, and
Yeah.
I thought that would be cool to introduce everybody to a kind of a different genre.
No
And
kidding.
I've got some other guys. If anybody really has any suggestions of other people to get on, definitely. I thought about Dan, reaching out to Dan and seeing if he wanted to come on and talk about. He was just on Paul's, about a few weeks
Well,
ago.
Dan, his new since Carl Butcher and his adventure gear photography days. Now
Yeah,
he's doing this. He's got the snowboard stuff almost going whole hog,
that was
and
so cool. That was so
it is
cool.
way so you. I don't know how much of it you've seen, but it is absolutely incredible. The amount of work that he has put into this is just mind-boggling, and the dedication he's shown to this is I I I have to hand it to him. I love that man. He does some great stuff.
He is a very talented guy.
No kidding. He made all the outfits, cast all the equipment,
There's
made
people you
the
run into, in our hobby, and you're like, oh, this guy's on another level. Like,
yeah, he's
there's
one of them too.
levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're there. I mean, you're there with Corrigan Holsters. I mean, dude, you make some wild stuff, man.
I
And
messed
it's
around a bit.
oh, you're so modest. You're so
You, on
modest.
the other hand, I saw some of the pictures you've been pulling up out of the archives there recently.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
alien one really.
yep,
Dan says, "Let him know anytime."
yep. I will, Dan. I'll be reaching out to you. Don't worry. Yeah, it's fun to do. I get inspired by all you guys, and I think that's kind of the cool things as I've when I kind of came back to doing this in 2010 and 11. I kind of rekindled my passion to do it, and I just wanted to make the best stuff I could for myself, like,
Yeah.
and share it with everybody. And that's how the photo stories were born. And
Right.
I like to feature all you guys' stuff in all my photo stories, because I think, like the rising tide raises all ships. Like, if
Yeah.
everybody helps each other in the hobby just thrives,
Well,
you know?
I found that my most creative points have always been when there's something that's really incredible going on. Whether it was Dan Butcher, Aesop, you know, all that stuff. Getting to know the guys in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Joe Club, um, getting involved online with Paul and that company with at the Man Cave, getting involved with Greg, um, you know, catching up with you and finally meeting Dan DiBiase just not that long ago for the first time, although we've known each other for well over 20 years.
That's wild.
you know, and Robert and Sean and all these people, Ace Allgood. Oh my God.
He's awesome.
Or is it Ace Armstrong? I can't quite remember.
He's
So I hear you're having Stacy Allgood on your show next week.
yeah,
Thursday night,
yeah.
8:00.
Oh, Action Team Joe. You're not Chop Liver Action Team Joe.
No,
You're
Brian
great.
is not
No.
chop liver. Not
You guys
by
are
any- we all want him.
all talented people. Yeah, Stacy would be a good time.
Yeah, but all of these guys, like you said, they fuel your creativity.
Yep.
By what you do. I see the stuff you do and I go, man, I like that. And it gives me a little poke in the ribs to step it up a little, do a little more, go a little beyond just what I'm being asked to do.
Yeah.
But that's what keeps me going. It's the people like yourself and like everybody there in the chat. I mean, they're all really decent people. And I
Yep.
mean, well, and like I was telling you, my buddy Adrian here in town, like if I get stumped on something, I talk to him.
Yeah, you ask people.
And he'll go, oh, just do this. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And he does some absolutely amazing stuff. Actually, he's getting to the point he got a 3D printer, so I'm afraid because,
Oh, man.
because some of the stuff that he might come out with could be absolutely over the top.
That's
'Cause
awesome.
he's got an imagination, and once he gets a handle on it, I don't think there'll be any stopping him.
I
He's,
love that. I love the 3D printing stuff. It's really revolutionized toys and customization
God,
for
yes.
sure.
Yeah. Well, we no longer need Hasbro or Mattel.
Nope.
It seems, I mean, they're printing bodies now,
Yep.
full bodies, full figures. At some point, we're not going to need those big companies to tell us what we want, what we need to play with.
We'll just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's how that's going to be their fault. I mean, for not really
listening. Well, and from moving away from play value and only doing stuff that had a 30-minute commercial or a 2-hour commercial associated with it.
Yep. It's
And
disheartening.
it is.
I hope it comes back around. I mean, sometimes things are cyclical, and I hope that becomes cyclical. And I don't know. We'll see.
I'm with you.
I think Daryl the Priest was on Paul's show, and he basically
he's fantastic.
he's awesome. I love to talk to him too.
You got to pull him one day too.
Yeah, he'd be fun because I got a lot of Adventure Team and Hasbro questions for him.
Stories.
But like when he said it was the customizers that are kind of driving the 1/6 scale, he's right. I mean,
more and more all the time.
That's what we're all doing.
More and more of them.
Yeah, I'm excited about all the people who are doing photo stories now.
Oh, no kidding. I wish I had the talent.
Oh, you got the talent. You can easily do it. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
You're like me with everything.
I'm just like freaking. I'm out there I'm a ball. I just tell everybody I'm a baller on a budget. I'm out there doing low grade special effects. I want my stuff to be like a VCR type special effects from the 1980s. But this golden skull thing that I'm doing, I'm really excited about that.
I know
And
that's really getting a lot of traction. I'm hearing a lot about it throughout the different groups.
I
And
think it's going to be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of
I
cool
think so.
stuff. I think it'll be choppy at first. I think it'll be a little weird how we bring it all together. But I think hopefully out of this initial thing, we can kind of do like an annual thing every year where we have like a giant thing everybody participates in. That's my
Yeah,
hope. You know,
and it'll only get bigger.
I think so. I hope.
As the word gets out and as they see, oh, look what they did. This thing was, and they find out what exactly it is that's going on once they start seeing the product come together. And
Yeah.
It'll just grow because then, Jimmy over here will say, hey, that's really cool. Can I get in on that next time?
Yeah.
Or, Freddie over there, same thing.
I
It,
hope.
it's going to pique their interest and bring more to it. So
I got to
that's
start making mine next month. I got two props. I got two props I got to build.
Uh-oh.
Ed from Action Figures, he sent me
Yeah.
a prop he made. I just told him one day I'm like, this is what I got to build. And he sends me a picture like a week later and he's like, will this work? I'm like, yeah, I guess that will work actually. So thanks, man.
Sweet.
And
That's really cool.
my son's excited. He's gonna help with my Golden Skull story.
Oh,
So
cool.
we have my house was built in the early 1900s. So
Right.
I got this porch. I got a big front porch, and it's got a vault underneath it to where
Right.
they formed it up and then just basically put a hatch to get in there under it after to take all the forms out after they poured
Right.
it. So it's got a big,
Okay.
it's almost like a fruit cellar, but it's big. And
Right.
he's always wanted to get in there and look for bugs. And I'm always like, I've never been under there, but I said,
Root
can go to
cellars are fun. My grandparents had one.
so I'm going to actually shoot my main scene under the
In a root
house
cellar.
and down in there. So he's going to get down there with me and we're going to do it all
Oh,
together. So
well,
uh,
that sounds fun.
that's the plan, at least. I don't know. That is the plan. Plans always change.
Yeah, they're always
Uh,
fluid.
when I did Jungle of Death last year, I was picking ticks off of me and shit when I got out of the woods. I'm like, damn it. I said, I'm probably gonna get Lyme's disease to make this photo story, but I didn't get anything. I was fine. I got rid of them. It was a good time.
Oh, that's good. Oh,
Well, man, we'll wrap this up. But I really appreciate it, Murray. Let's do this again because
anytime.
I think it's gonna be a fun live stream to start doing. I can't wait to talk to you guys. I really enjoy all your stuff, Murray. It's really cool that you're doing it all.
Oh,
You make some really cool stuff, and
thank you.
I can't wait. I know I talked to you off camera about a few projects I'm gonna hit you up about, and we'll definitely get together with those. Stick around after I end this, and I'll shoot the poop with you for a little while longer. But
Sounds good.
before we go, Murray, tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on, and anything else that you need to tell everybody.
Oh, not too much. If you're looking for holsters, Cotswold carries them rather regularly. Price is always fair and decent. Greg is incredible to deal with. If you've got special projects that you're interested in, you can drop me a line. I'm on Facebook, Murray Corrigan, or on Facebook, Corrigan Holsters, either or. Drop me a private message and we can come to an agreement or figure out what it is you need or want and get it together for you. Prices are reasonable. They haven't gone up much in the last 25 years.
You're not a millionaire, right? You're not sitting on a.
Never did this for the money. Did it for the hobby.
That's right, man.
Keep it affordable. When stuff started to get stupid expensive, I just said I'm not going there. I'm just keeping my prices where they've always been.
Attaboy.
It's all about fun. And if you're not having fun, there's no point doing it, right?
Nope, that's right. You're a good dude, Murray Corrigan. You're one of the best,
And
man.
you.
If we had a world full of Murray Corrigans, it'd be a hell of a lot better place.
Oh, Jeff, you're making me blush.
From Canada, from America to Canada, man, it's awesome. Well,
hey,
Murray,
you take care.
Yep, I really appreciate it, man. Stick around, and we will shoot the poop a little bit afterwards. And until next time, buddy. All right, guys. This has been Who's in the Shop with Murray Corrigan. It was a great time, great conversation. We were able to actually finish it, which was awesome. I really appreciate all you guys tuning in. Definitely like and subscribe to the page, share this, and thanks for watching. And in the meantime, guys, keep living the adventure, and cheers.